Good morning, everyone. I am just getting booted up here. I don't trade the open, so I'm usually not in a hurry. Plus, can you guys hear me okay? All right, you can see my screen here. This is just a basic chart I've got set up. I'm going to add the turn and burn. So I want to add the turn and burn strategy. This is set at a max loss at 800. That doesn't really work for me, so I'm going to change that to 600. My daily profit target, I'm going to be happy with I'll leave it at 500. Good enough. Time is fine. ATM strategy, you're going to pick here. I'm going to use turn and burn NQ, and I'll show you that in a minute, guys. I don't use the WADA confluence. This is going to make the trades way too restrictive. It's only going to take a trade if we get a turn and burn and a WADA explosion signal at the same time. I understand that works good for gold, but all right, so I am going to change this to my live account. On my live account, and we're going to copy to my funded accounts here. I'm going to leave the label up. If you don't want that mess up at the top of your chart, you could just delete that. All right, so we got that set up. Next thing I want to do is come on over here to my order panel, and I just want to click enable, and that's going to pop up these long and short buttons here. I want to switch my chart. That would have been a disaster. And since I made that change, I'm just going to turn it off and turn it back on. Now I've got this set to 10-minute candlestick bars. I also look at it here on the 15-minute bar. I just think the 10-minute is a good sweet spot. You get more entries. All right, so I'm going to change this to my turn and burn NQ. I'll just show you what that looks like. I am going to trade 4 contracts, 2 and 2. I've got an initial 200 tick stop, 80 tick profit. Now I use this personally as a semi-automated strategy. So I'm going to enable this long and short right now. I can already see, look in here, what is my target? Of course, it is going to be the daily expected high. That is my long-term target. I'm looking to break the high over here to the left. I'm always looking to the left, guys, when I trade for pivots. I really trade pivot to pivot, so it'll be totally fine to just take the longs here. And when I start my day, this is the first thing I'm looking at right here. Where are we in respect to the expected high or low? Do I have room to make a profit? What is my pivot target? Now I can see right now it is all to the left. So I have a long bias today. And for me, that means I'm probably going to just take longs today. And then I pull up my 30-minute chart here. This is the weekly IB range. I also plot my opening gaps here. You can see we have one below. I want to say 80% of the time we fill that gap. And that's important to know. This could be a fake out on the way up. We could come back, fill that gap, and then go back up. That is quite possible. So I just want to know where that is. And it keeps me from entering too early. Maybe I don't jump in this long. And then I've got my volume profile chart here. I've got the WADA explosion on this. I can look to the left here. Again, always looking to the left, guys. And I see that we are in a range from yesterday. I also see this big old gap down here and this node sticking up. We like to fill these gaps. If we start to break down below, I would be looking front running that target. You can see my turn and burns are on here. We got a lot of signals happening. Pretty much all of these longs work. I did not trade yesterday. Honestly, I have not traded since last Tuesday. Just been a little busy with all this FTT mess. So I haven't had time to trade. All right, I am also trading down here on NQ. I got a lot of evals that are going to get ready to reset, and I got to get them done. Got 3 pros on take profit. I'm working on 2 evals. I'm funded next. I messed up my consistency. I have to make double profit. I am almost there. I got 3,000 more. I'm at 112 profit. My personal account, I'm over the 5,000. You know, I usually say my personal account, I like to start at 5, and then when I like to start at 3,000, and then when I get to 5,000, I take that 2,000 payout. I have not taken that 2,000 payout here, so I'm trading 4 micros on this. I've got a funded futures network account right here. I'm at 3,400 in profit on. working on some lucid evals, one E8. You can see I'm pretty much there. The only thing new I have are trade day. I added 2 trade days before that sale ended yesterday or the day before. I have not touched those yet, but a bunch of them are getting ready to reset. So right now I have 14 accounts. 4 of them are funded and my personal, and I'm going to finish these evals. I'm trying to, keep it scale back a little bit, and I'm going to just keep maybe 15 total accounts that I'm trading. That's plenty for me. Alan, you can download the turn and burn in I think the Livewire bots channel. I don't really manage the Discords, guys, so I really am lost. I think that's a better question for Aaron if he's around. I don't know where he can find it. I did ask for some changes to it. Hopefully we'll get them. So when my position enters, and we're just going to watch that, I manually manage it, right? So I'm going to be moving my stops and my targets. I am not taking any trades just yet. I am going to be porting some of these evals. I want to get them done. So I am going to trade on NQ a little bit today while we're waiting for that. I've got 2 big monitors stacked here. So you're looking at my top one. And I typically do trade pretty aggressively on my evals. And this is a scaling account. I've got the legacies here, so I can only do 3. I've really got to look up high to do this, so we'll see how that goes. But I am on this funded next account. I'm going to just do the 2. I usually just go in this way with the 2 goldens. It's just kind of how I start, and I will get that all set up. But what I'm looking for right now is just to break this low here. When I look at these bars, especially the 15-minute bars, we almost always have some overlap. You can see here, let me change my mouse here. You can see here we pull back before we go up. You can see here we pull back before we go down. We usually have overlap on these bars. When we overlap too much, like say we pull back more than 50% of the prior bar, to me that's possibly a trap trade. I don't like to get into trap trades. And I'm also always looking at the round numbers. So we got down to 58 here. That's not a round number. I do think we're going up. We got really close to VWAP, but not quite there. That's the VWAP on my chart. So I'm just going to wait for a better opportunity here to get into, because especially since I'm trading NQ, I don't want to be messing around with that. How about you guys? Anybody trading yet? I know we had news this morning. We look like we're filling that gap. I didn't like the overlap on the 15-minute chart. We came down too far. There is a gap below. It's a little warning sign for me. I don't like to get into that. And you see here we pulled right back to the daily open. Generally, when the New York Open and the daily open are really close together, that's the purple and the turquoise line here, we are in a trading range day. So right now I'm just sitting on my hands. I feel like every single time I try to stream, it's like this, and there's not a lot of trades, but I'm not going to force trades for stream purposes. So right now it's a little sketchy. I don't know what's happening. I do have a long-term bias today. I do think we're going to go and break that pivot to the left, but I'm not rushing into this. NQ is going to follow. I do think we're going to come and fill that session gap. So it's going to be real quiet in here. All right, I think we're going to fill this gap, guys. That is why I'm not in the long yet. I'm going to wait and see if that is filled first. I do think we're going to break this pivot low, but I'm not going to short into these levels, and especially since I think we're going up today, I'm just going to wait. If we're in a trading range, I don't want it to be buying high and selling low, right? So I'm going to wait until we get the pullback here, and then I will look to be buying low. Spicy, I don't actually look at any of the other instruments. I just trade NQ. I used to watch all 3, my 3 amigos. But it's just a lot to look at. And to me, it's easier just to trade one thing. I don't mess with gold. I don't mess with silver. I ain't trading ES. It's too damn slow. And NQ always moves. I mean, I always find a trade. I don't really need to look at anything else. And that was one change I made, I'm going to say like late last year. And I'll tell you, it really improved, my profitability went up. All right, while we're waiting for that mess to get resolved here, I'm just looking at the last couple of days of volume profile. We got a huge gap here. We like to fill these gaps. So we had a big range yesterday, but most of the action took place here. I don't know, this looks pretty good. You could have just pretty much bought all day. But you see here, it went up, it came back down, then it went up. I think that's happening right now. Personally, I'm going to catch everybody on the way up and the way down is how that usually goes. I will stay out of that. Maybe we'll get like that 10, 15, 10:30 reversal. We'll see. We'll see. But I am going to scalp because we are in a trading range. So I will take the scalp with the runner. I don't have any reversal bars. So let's talk about turn and burn. This is a semi-auto bot that I created, or I asked them to create for me based around my strategy. I really like to enter on these reversal bars. A lot of times what I do is I really look at the 15-minute chart here on my volume profile chart. I look for these U-turns. And the U-turn signals are only on the reversal bars that have like some volume. So we filtered those out a little bit. But if you look, especially if you're scalping, every time we get a reversal, we almost always get follow through, right? We come down and we at least break the low here. So it's almost like a guaranteed scalp in many cases. But if you enter these reversal bars, you know, here we got one. We didn't get an entry. This isn't a good entry. It never broke the low of that bar, which triggered the entry. And I like to get in like 2 ticks lower. So that's how the turn and burn is set up, you know, in case it just goes 1 tick and then reverses and is a trap trade. This is another one. I don't think we even we triggered the entry right here where your stop was. This one here also was not a successful trade. This one was not an entry. I really see too many losers. This was a good reversal bar. So how we filtered out those poor entries is we use the WADA. This is the WADA down here. It's going to filter the entries on the turn and burn. Basically, it's not going to take an entry. We are not above the explosion line. So we want to have some momentum on our trades. We don't want to be sitting in chop. When it's below, we just don't take those. So here we got a U-turn signal. We are above the WADA explosion. That was a good entry. It didn't trigger in 2 bars. Here we go, another one. That is not a good entry. So we avoided that loser. Here we go, another one. Not a good entry. It's below. Here we go, this one. If I had enabled, I would have gotten into this trade already. And it was only 64 ticks. So potentially I would have gotten stopped out on that one. And at 4 contracts on MNQ, it's just like 200, 250 bucks usually for the trade. Now I would have gotten out of that. I don't hold my positions to hit my stop. I don't like that. I'm gonna get out here. Would have been my exit. So I would have took a small loss on that trade. And that's the goal here. I don't care about these small losers. I take them and just move on to the next trade because I'm looking for those big winners. And you will get them on these reversal bars. This is how I get into, if you see me posting chart picks and I have big runners, this is how I'm getting them, guys. We have filled the session gap. These are LiveWire tools on this chart. I have the gap tracker on. That is what's following that. I've got the pivots turned on, the 60-minute pivots. I use those for my targets. And then I have got the weekly IB range. So that is Monday and Tuesday's high and low. Price, the high and low between Monday and Tuesday sets the range for the week. We are up at IB high right now, but I still have a long bias. So far for turn and burn, we were late. What time was that? Oh, it was at 8:50. I wait for the open. So if you stick to the time, you haven't taken any losers. If you start early, this could have potentially been a loser, but I don't start early. This is our news here. So we'll get an alert turn and burn when a setup comes on this one for now. And right now, I think we're still going to go down. You can see how close we came to breaking that pivot to the low. That's clearly the target. So short is the way to go right now. We also need to close red here to fill that gap. I am trading some evals. Order filled. I am looking for this pivot for my runner. I'm gonna leave target my stop filled. Right where it is. We got a quick scalp, guys. Stop filled. All right, my runner got stopped. Order filled. Do it again. I'm gonna move my stop. Big risk, I know, but I'm just on an eval. I'm going to pull that down to 21, get a little more on it. We got 21 minutes left on this 30-minute bar, and I do think it's going to close red. Usually that would have hit my TP and moved to break even, but I moved my TP. I just want to try to squeeze a little more. I'm down here at 20. We should get to the at least the 20 here. Then I will break even. So I got my stop at break even at 31. I'm a little bit above the 30 level. Hopefully that's good enough.
Target filled.
Let's go down. I've got 500. You can see my P&L here. Can you guys see my screens okay when you say full screen which window? I think it is you, Bernadette. Everybody can see my screens, right? All right, I like to front run my targets here. And what is my target, guys? I'm looking to the left. I want to break the low to green candle here down at 87. I am going to get out at probably 92 for a $700 profit. A lot of people are going to be taking profit down here. A lot of people are going to front run just like me. I don't want all of those targets hit and the market reverses without hitting my target. I don't like to be left behind. I'd rather lose 2 points than be left behind. So that's just how I do it. And it's a runner, so I'm going to hold my position here and get my full target. Or I'm going to get stopped out. The POC is at 905. We're really close to hitting that. If it comes back and stops me out, I'm probably going to re-enter this. But again, I'm trading 2 minis here. I mean, I would, but I would be doing it on micros. Oh, gotcha. I'm usually doing this on 2 screens. I'm trying to fit it all into one so I can share it with you guys. I am by no means an expert streamer over here. You get what you get. What's up, DBT? I bet you all the ICT traders are sitting on their hands. I don't do that. I don't trade like that. I don't care about setups really that much. I just want a general direction. And I'm like a wild child. I just get in and manage my trades. I am on right now, I think this is a 20, 40, 80 brick size. Yep, these are 20, 40, 80 bricks. I've got 10-minute and 15-minute bars, also 30-minute bars and daily candles I'm looking at. Let's see, it still can come back and get me. I also got to watch my profit. Can I pass this thing or what? I think I need 15,000. I forgot that there was consistency on it, and I hit the target in one day. Now I have to make twice as much. All right, here's the add-on point. You could totally add on here. I'm not going to. We're pretty close to the target out here. So far, we got 1 account, 1 trade. Listen, there's a lot of ICT traders make a lot of money. I think Jade Cap's an ICT trader. Kane is an ICT trader. I know they make a lot of money. I like Kane too. He's really nice. I had an opportunity to connect with him earlier last year. He reached out to me on Twitter. And he is a super nice guy, by the way. So, yeah, it's just a different... I mean, there's a ton of ways to trade. No, there's no one right way. I don't think we should be all superior over here about which way we trade. It doesn't matter. As long as you make money, it doesn't matter how you trade. But maybe the focus is too much on the setup, right? Waiting for the perfect entry. There isn't no perfect entry. I mean, I feel like with that kind of system, you wait around a lot. And I don't have time to wait around a lot. So that's just not a strategy that resonates with me personally. I like to get a scalp and a runner. I want the best of both worlds here. I'm going to manage minis different than I would micros, obviously. You know, I'll be willing to hold them. I'll have a smaller risk. Yeah, I'm still using candles. I'm not just using Renkos. All right, we're going to hit this profit target. Let's go. So I'm at 92. We're clearly going down to break that pivot to the left on the 30-minute chart. It is at 88. I do think we'll get to possibly the next pivot is at 870.50.
Target filled.
There we go. We made $1,100 on that one. And we're just going to move along to the next now. Let's see, which one do we want? All right, I'm almost done this E8 account, so let's do that one. See if we can't get that finished. I'm going to stick to my 2 minis here. Now, if I was on a take profit, but I will tell you truthfully, I am over here trading 6 to 10 minis sometimes to get these evals done quick. Listen, I was degenning my fund at take profits. I was on a mission to get $1 million payout like Mr. Lanto did. at the end of the year, and let's just say I ended up resetting a whole lot, okay? I find micros to be unreal money. I don't worry about losing. I'm okay holding my trades because, again, it's only $200. For me, the big numbers cause a little more anxiety. That's why I said I didn't take the payout on my personal, even though I am in profit already for the year there. I'm going to start scaling up and adding on. Maybe I go to 6 micros, we'll see. All right, so I've got these 1 hour pivots marked out. I said if we were going to break this one for sure, and now it looks like we're coming to get this one. Our gap is filled on the day. I am still going to be looking for a long entry down here. So let's look to the left a little more. We have another gap here. Are we coming to break these guys here? And what do I see? I see a leg, 1, 2, and a second leg. So maybe we're going to get like a measured move of this this leg down here. So that when this happens, I'm going to be looking for a nice green reversal bar and hold on to that bad boy all the way back to the top here, because I do think that we're coming to the left here on the daily chart. Daily expected high. It looks like we're heading up to the weekly expected high, but I'm thinking we're coming to the left here. Now we did get a second leg that failed to make a measured move. We did fill the gap here to the left. We have come up for the stops here, and this leg down failed. So that kind of just gives me more confidence on the long bias for the day. And I don't have to be right. I'll still make money. It doesn't matter. Again, it's all down to how you manage your trade. And I'm hoping we get one so I could show you how I do that on this turn and burn. All right, we're wiping out these pivots here. I'm not going to short at the bottom, and I don't see any real reason to take a long yet. So we're just going to sit on our hands. Now, ideally, that trade I took already, I would have copied it, but I'm here with you guys today. That takes a little bit of my focus away. I don't want to be copy trading a whole bunch of stuff and mess up. So, just the one account, but it just gives you an idea of at least what I'm doing here. We got no good reversal bars. This was a good one. You entered, you got stopped out, and then it went down. If your stop was up at the pivot, which a lot of times I personally do have my stop up at the pivot, it just gives me more room and time to make a decision. But I can tell you right now, if you had entered this on the automated strategy, I do believe the stop would be up here. You actually are in profit right now, but me, I manage my trades. So when I saw this candle here, as soon as we break a high, I don't like that. I'm going to try to get out. And I will get out with either a real small loser or a break-even trade, and that's fine. You got an entry here, and you got a nice run of points. You got an entry here, you got a nice run of points up. No entry there. That was a loser. This was a good entry. You did get at least a scalp here. That is a loser. I would have gotten out of that as soon as we broke that high here. I would be out. And again, I want to point this out. I look at these bars. When I look to the left, if we have pulled back more than 50% of the prior bar in the wrong direction, I don't like that. That is my exit signal. I don't like that. Here we got a good one. You got a nice run all the way up. So those couple little losers are small amounts on micros. You gotta learn when to get out. We want to keep our losers small, our winners big. That is what I like to do. And I use these other charts to kind of just help me, again, focus on the long-term bias. Keep from getting in too early in the wrong direction. I showed you guys that gap. And I showed you guys how we had pulled back more than 50% of the prior bar. It's not a good look. No, Dr. Dax, I would tell you no. I don't think it does. Psychology is an interesting question, right? Like, everybody has their own personality, their own triggers, their own, tolerance for anxiety. In my professional career, I was a paralegal at a big law firm for a long time. And I had a high pressure job. I worked on big, prominent cases. I worked for two rainmaker partners that didn't like each other. And they were always like fighting over me. So I had to learn to navigate all these different things, right? And I'm, a Northeast Philadelphia person here. And we're a little bit of a rough bunch. We don't sweat much. So personally, I am someone that can deal with high stress, situations. But I will say, as I get older, I find that I'm a little more stressed out about stuff than I never would be. And it's really stress. When they say psychology, to me, it's stress. It's the stress of seeing yourself in a losing position. It's the stress of wanting to be successful and wanting to be right all the time. It's stress that causes us to make, mistakes. So you really have to not care. You have to accept that, all right, every time I push that button, I might lose $200. And if you're pushing that button 10 times in a row and losing, then there's other issues. Like, maybe you're pushing, then you need to correct, when you're pushing the buttons. But, yeah, I think I just personally like the risk management aspect is what helped me, stop losing money, basically. And my husband will tell you I cannot manage money. So I would say no. I don't think being a good money manager makes you any better at trading or not. Me too, Mr. Dax. And I'm just an overachiever. To me, I wanted to be right all the time. I'm a woman. That's what we do. We are right all the time. So that was really my struggle. But listen, I'm still, a semi-new trader. I don't have, there's lots of people you can learn from that are years ahead of me, know so much more than me. I would say, your average, above average new trader. I do think it helps to learn, other people's perspectives and I personally learned a lot watching other people. I'm going to tell you who I learned the most from. Everybody comes to me when they have a problem with a prop firm. We all know this, right? So I am in a really unique position because the profitable people who can't get paid are coming to me, and I can see who is making a lot of money. And, during the course of helping some of these folks, they've taught me a lot. They're amazing. There's just amazing people in this community, I gotta say. And a lot of the really, truly profitable people kind of stay under the radar and they make their money and mind their own business, right? So it's just allowed me to connect with people and get information from people that I can see are making a lot of money. And that also has been helpful. So I try to take some of that knowledge and I share it with the community, like the weekly IB range, that's something I learned from some of them. I will say John, the million dollar Apex trader, he trades footprint charts, and that just really didn't resonate with me. So not my particular style, but it works great for him. He's got some great system where he capitalizes on footprint charts and volume spikes. And he's a scalper, and he is making a ridiculous amount of money. Matter of fact, I don't even think he trades props anymore. He took his money and moved to Florida. And I love seeing anybody be successful, especially against these props. Look how many traders they deny, and they just stress you out, waiting for your payout. I just love to see people taking their money, guys. All right, so we broke the second pivot onto the left. Now remember, my bias was long today. We are very close to the expected low. I don't know now. Now I'm not so sure. Are we going to hit both levels today? That does happen. We got the EMA down here. That's a magnet for the price to come down. Can we get that far? Are we going to have that big of a range? I don't know. But right now, that's what it looks like is happening. I'm not going to take that long yet. So what I'm going to do when this happens, I'm just going to wait for a reversal bar and take my shot. So I'm going to risk that $200 And because I find that those are the best entries, okay? Those reversal bars are where you're going to catch that big move. So for me, I want that big move, and I'm going to risk my $200. But we don't have one yet, so we'll just hang out. I don't have one on the 15-minute or the 10-minute bars, and I'm looking at them both. I mean, the market moves up and down. We've gone down pretty far here. I should get a pullback, you know, but I'm not going to take that entry unless I get a reversal bar. Yeah, see, I know that makes sense to you, but looking at that, and it takes a lot of study. Like, the average person is looking at that and eyes are crossing. I'm looking at the daily to guide me, so the 4 hour makes sense too. I just think trading based off levels on the 4 hour chart is not going to give you a lot of opportunities, really, I would think, as an intraday trader. You know, it takes a long time to get to them. It takes 4 hours, right? 4 hours is a long time when you're a day trader. Yeah, I guess you were late this morning. I talked about that. First thing I'm looking at is the daily chart. At the time we were coming up here. I'm just going to squeeze my little chart in here. I've got the daily expected high up here. We're pretty close. That is my target. As soon as I see I'm close to one of them levels, the options people, they just know. I am looking for that target. I also confirmed that bias. Looking to the left, we got a pivot here. I personally trade pivot to pivot. That is where my targets are. I want to look to the left, look at the pivot. Do I have enough room to make money if I get into a trade? You know, that is what I'm looking to see. You can see we pulled back, we came down to the pivot. We pull back, we come to the pivot. We pull back, we come to the pivot. That is what I'm looking for. So looking at this morning, I had a long bias. I'm also looking at this, and we had an opening gap. I know that 80% of the time we're going to fill that opening gap on the day. I like to get that filled before I'm going to think about taking a long. And then I kind of went through here, and I showed the 15-minute chart, and we were on this candle when I started doing this analysis, and this one here I saw pulled back more than 50% of this one. That tells me it's not a healthy uptrend. Okay, we shouldn't pull back that far if we're going to make a second leg up, a measure move here. You know, yes, we're going to have overlap. NQ almost always has overlapping candles. We should pull back somewhat, but not that far. So that kept me out of the long too early. And then honestly, once we broke that low right here, I knew we were coming for this one. At least that would trigger my entry on that prop eval. Sorry guys. I might have, my daughter is still in the ICU. I know I've been talking about this. Apparently she's got sepsis now. So the doctors have been calling between the dog wanting to go out, and then the dog got sick. Somebody was it was just one of them days here over here. So this is super boring. No reversal bars yet. I'm still waiting. But what do we see here? Let's talk about that. We got a leg down. We got a trend here. We're looking to break that trend, make a new extreme, which will be a new low. And that's when I'm looking for that long entry. You know, when those things coincide with these reversal bars, I am in it. It sounds like it's treatable. I mean, I don't think it's, I mean, she's got bacteria in her blood, so that could be like sepsis. Not great, but I mean, they didn't sound super concerned, so I'm not going to panic about it. And I will say my daughter is 32. She's not, you know, she's not a baby, guys. But they're still your baby, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if they're 32. They're still your baby. All right, we got a little trickster here. Started to go up, reversed. Seem to be dropping down here, but we are at the bottom of the range. We broke out of the value area range. We have broken out of, remember I earlier went through, looked to the left. We need to put that line there, right? And what was I looking for? I was looking at this gap in the profile. All right, we are probably going to dump right through it, honestly, and fill that gap. So I popped that line there just so I knew it was there. I am not on the LiveWire volume profile here. I'm on the Ninja tool. So if you're on the LiveWire version, these levels won't be filled for you, but the untested value levels will be. but I definitely pay attention to gaps. Gaps in the bars, gaps in the profile, gaps on the open. So what I think will happen here now is, and this just happens all the time, once we break out of the low or the high of the volume profile, we usually come back in. And that will trigger the volume profile traders who will take the rotation down to the next level. But you see here, we chop, chop, chop on those levels. We generally go up and back, up and back, up and back, stopping everybody out before it does finally go. So that should start here. I would expect that we're going to come up into the value range and then come back down and wipe everybody out who took the long. Won't be me because I don't have a reversal bar. I don't even see any like bar gaps to worry about. Nothing on the 30 minutes, nothing on the 15. Oh, maybe we got one here. Hold on. Yeah, we do. We got a little one here. All right, we got a little gap here. These are the 15-minute candles. I don't have the gap tracker on this chart. I'm just going to mark it for you guys. My eyes are trained to see these things right here. So what does that tell me? That tells me when we come and do a pullback, that is a high probability target that we will fill that gap. So I am going to just mark that one too. I like to mark my gaps a different color. I think I've got it set at pink here. Yep, that works. All right, so we know we got that gap there. I'm just going to keep an eye on that. When we start heading in that direction, just like the pivot targets, that is my target. And you see that kind of coincides with this gap in the profile up here. We got a little gap to fill here. That is my pullback target. First here is going to be up at the 80s. Next one is going to be up here at the 905. And then if we start heading back up, I'll be looking to fill all of that there. But this is a great tool. You can easily see right now we're sideways, right? We're not in a trending market. We shouldn't be doing any of them strategies that are trend following. This is not going to work here. And how did I remember I said today, when the New York open and the daily candle open are close together, generally we are sideways for the day. Or we potentially have a reversal bar on the long starting here, waiting to see what happens. We still have 6 minutes left on this 10-minute bar. So far I've only taken one trade. Now I kind of regret not copying that, but it is what it is. I'm going to try to get this one done. I was hoping with the news today we would have some really good movement and I could get these guys done, but it doesn't look like that's happening. I am going to have to take at least a qualifying trade on each of them. I haven't traded since Tuesday. That's how I say it. Nobody's allowed to make fun of me. How about you guys? Are you in any trades? I see Matute here has some nice profits. Santa, I took this short because on when we pulled back on this candle here and we exceeded 50% of the green one, and initially my bias was long. I wanted to at least hit this, target one and then on up. Yeah, that pullback of over 50% told me that, and also there was a gap on the open below us. Okay, so those two things right there told me I think we're coming to break the pivots on the downside. So I entered the short on that eval. Looking to scout my way down to the bottom. We did get a nice runner on that one. I can see a gap right here, guys, right here. And this yellow line is something I just plotted on my own charts. This is the daily open from yesterday. We like to come back to that level. So I can see a gap right there. And when I say gap, I don't count wicks. We did wick through it, but we didn't close the gap to me. When I see a gap, I mean between the bars. And I like to see a full body close over it, or I just like to know where it is. So the LiveWire gap tracker will do that for you. You got to think all the things I'm saying here, all the LiveWire tools are designed to show you these things that I'm talking about. When I created that, I really wanted to help my friends and family that I was teaching understand better what I'm looking at, right? So I made tools that show you. They will plot these daily gaps. They will plot the opening gaps. They plot the daily open. They plot the New York open. The bar gaps are being plotted. The volume profile is being plotted. So are the untested volume profile high and low levels. They are targets. The pivots. I trade pivot to pivot. You can see that now. We have the expected moves for the day. All of those things are being plotted. And the signals right now, you see, just since we're going over, this is the trend tracker and the Mac Duo. I have them both together on my charts. I turn off alerts because they get on my nerves, but you can see we didn't get any long entries as we were going down here. This is the last long entry. It was a good scalp, but here's what I want to show you. When the candles are green and we start getting red entries, that tells me to stay out right here. I shouldn't be getting these red entries. Clearly we crossed below the live wire. That would be my exit. If I was in this long here and I got a closed candle here, I'd be looking for an exit here. So you could put your stop below that pivot and exit there. You could exit on a pullback or just move your stop here on the pullback. Then you would have gotten exited out. You would have got a nice profit. But then I start seeing these and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to get a long. I wouldn't have taken this long. Same thing here. So now you see all these red arrows and the candles are green. That usually signifies sideways. This was really designed to help people not get chopped up, right? So then we broke below the live wire. We've our yellow here that tells me we're going down, and we start to get some entries short. Now we're also pushing into these levels here that are strong levels. The daily open is just a strong level. I personally would want to wait for this one here, but then you got a second entry here. So you got a nice run down, and then again, you broke above here. This would be either my exit or I would be tightening my stop here. And these bars are colored based on a lot of things: volume, short and long-term trends. It's people think this is the trend magic, and everything kind of revolves around that. And I'll tell you something: this live wire here is the trend magic, but it's just a level of confluence, something we added at the end of these tools just to make it visually easier for people. That is not really what draws any of these signals, and it is not what colors the bar or predicts a trend. So all this does is just give you an extra little layer of confluence, something you can easily see that will help guide you a little bit better. So that's kind of what the purpose was, to kind of develop these tools. That's what they do. They show you all of these different things, and they're all customizable, so you can pick and choose what works.
Bullish
for your
reversal.
strategy. Okay, we got one. And we do not have a good entry. So you heard the alert go off because we got an entry on the indicator, but it's not going to be a turn and burn entry here because we're below the water explosion line. So this isn't going to enter us. But we got our leg down. We broke the trend. We should get one leg, possibly another little small pullback, a second leg, and then a new extreme is usually what I'd be looking for. And once we get that new extreme, that is when we would either start going sideways, reverse, or continue down. So that's the time you want to get into those reversal trades. I do think this is going to work for a scalp, but I'll just stick to the turn and burn parameters here. And it's just an odd day that we're not going to get a trade, right? So it happens. So it looks like you have some levels there, active trader. Are they ICT levels? What are they? Okay, yeah, no, I will. Guys, we have some new tools coming for Livewire. So I've been looking for like people that create good tools that we can bring to Livewire and share. ICT tools, different kinds of tools. And we've got 2 free tools coming for you guys, and then a couple of other ones too. So active trader, I will catch up with Aaron if it's just the value area low, value area C. Okay, I got it. Okay, so you're just looking at volume profile. More likely than not, I think we'll come back for the stops at value area low. No, that's a big green candle though. I usually find the first entry into the value area is usually getting stopped out. They do come back for it. Not every time, obviously, but most times. But it's nice and clean though. I like it. I hope you get your target. Looks like we're going back to VWAP. It's definitely a good idea, I think, making a zone. But looking at it, it looks like order blocks or, you know, like fair value gaps. That's what I was thinking it was. I was wondering if that would coincide with one of those levels. I don't follow those levels, but I do think they're probably all at the same place. Like, we're all getting the same information in different ways, right? Well, active trader, I don't want you to do a ton of work unpaid. Open a ticket. I want to chat with you. If you're going to make some tools for us, I definitely want to compensate you for your time. Oh, it was wild in the Discord yesterday morning. I'm going to tell you, it was a lot of fun yesterday. I gave away all this money and then I got a I keep saying chargeback, a clawback notice for $33,000, bastards. I'm so irritated about that whole shit show. All right, so it looks like we're getting our second little leg down here. You know, we move in two legs, right? Even the small pullbacks usually move in two legs. It's two small ones. So we got our second leg here. Usually it breaks the low, but we'll see. It's bouncing right off of that EMA. That might be a shot at a long. I don't know. It's just really slow today. This kind of sucks. I hate those days where you enter your trade and it's so slow and you just gotta wait and wait and wait. I want to hit my targets when I enter. I don't like to be messing around. Plus I'm busy. Like, I got a lot, you know, I can't sit still that long. I got all kind of challenges here as a trader. I've got a little exercise bike set up to like face my screens. Sometimes I sit on that and I just to get moving, right? And I watch my screens from my screens from my bike. Yeah, I mean, it could come down some more. I don't know. I'm still looking for two legs. I don't know. It's kind of sketchy. We have a gap on the daily here, and we're filling it. So in order to fill this gap here, we'd have to close red today. So it is possible, certainly. But I really was leaning towards breaking up here. So, but we've got a big leg down, two legs up. It could be we're going down there. Quite possible. Again, it doesn't matter if you're right. It just really managing your trade correctly. You can be wrong and still make money. You know, I make the best guess and just get busy. But I don't personally like to trade when it's slow and choppy like this. It's just not my favorite. I'm a very impatient person. I go at 150% mostly all of the time. So to sit here, this is why I can't trade ICT concepts, because I can't sit here and watch for a long time. I get impatient. So I have a strategy that works with my personality, right? I can just get in most of the time and make my money and get about my day. But I don't like slow price action, you know. If it's moving, I have a great chance at least getting my scalp. I don't like the pain trades sitting here with this chop. Like, which way are we going to go? We're also pushing into the value area. It's the POC, so that's not really a good place to trade. What's everyone got going on for New Year's? Any good New Year's resolutions? Abs, if you're looking for active traders indicator, I think Aaron posted a link above. This is the first time I'm seeing it, so I'm not sure where we put that kind of stuff. Maybe somebody could drop it in the chat. I don't personally have it, so that's how you turn on the turn and burn indicator. So you can you can arm it for longs or you can arm it for shorts. So when you first activate the strategy on your chart, those things will be red. That means it's not turned on. So you can either turn on both, you can turn on one or the other. Gives you a little flexibility. I have both turned on, but we don't have an entry here because even though we have a U-turn, we're below the explosion line, so that rules that entry out for us. We also have that same U-turn signal on the 15-minute bars. No, I think that we're looking for the indicator that you showed the picture for. Definitely don't download the LiveWire suite unless you have a license. That's going to mess your charts all up. Oh, it's for LiveWire members only. I see. I gotcha. Apparently, we have another tool for LiveWire members only. I didn't know that, but that's amazing. Thanks for making that. The LiveWire Trading Suite are the 5 tools that we initially launched. I probably am going to rename that because we have new tools now. I don't know. I'll think about that. And the new tools don't necessarily kind of go with it, I think. So, but you can download a free trial of LiveWire. You can try it 7 days for free and get a license key. Do I like LiveWire? I love it. Of course I love it. It's my little, it's also my baby. Oh, the picture above. Oh, I saw you created something people could plot the expected moves on. That's very cool. We are still trying to automate that. Right now we have to update the levels on the back end. I guess kind of like your indicator, but it updates everyone's indicator that has that. And everybody in a LiveWire has that, I believe, right? So it's just gonna, when you open your charts, it's already set up for you, but that takes labor on our side. We're really trying to automate it, the calculation, the plotting, everything on the tools, but I don't know where they are with that. Yeah, the latest update is 2 ticks above or below the reversal bar. I mean, if the price breaks your reversal bar, it's probably not going to be you're not going to get that big run we're looking for. I thought that the risk was too high. I mean, you certainly can move it around. It's not going to mess the bot up. And I do. That's why I'm waiting for one of them to enter so I can show you. You know, like if you enter this one here and your stop is a couple ticks down here, that's fine. I mean, if we break the lowest bar, that's not we're not getting that run that we're looking for. So we really can get out there. But I don't like to put my stop here because I don't want to get stopped out there. I kind of put my stop far away because it gives me time to wait for a pullback to exit, a small loss. I don't want to take this big loss. So that was the one change that we made to this. And now at this point here, I would be moving my stop anyway. I would bring my stop from here probably down to below here. I'm looking at the 15-minute candles. All right, now my stop's here. I'm looking for that big run up. We shouldn't come back that far. At this point, I've already got my scalp. I probably put my runner stop down here somewhere. I will wait for us to get above a round number and move my stop up, 94. That's kind of how I manage it. But we haven't gotten an entry to show you that. So that's one of the changes I want to make to the strategy is trade management. I want to add some more trade management components. I think it's a semi-automated strategy. I would not run this without paying attention to it. Personally, I wouldn't do that with any strategy. C is spicy, but I do miss a lot of entries because I'm doing all of the things, and this will automatically get me in, and then I can see it and just manage my trade. It helps me personally during the day because I got a lot going on. But I still manage my trade. I'm still moving things around here. The 8,400 is just a general number. I mean, that's what I would like to get. But I'm looking to the left, seeing where my pivots are. Where do I think I can get enough profit? I'm going to move them targets. I'm going to move the stops. Yeah, my risk is small. I give my trades enough room to breathe. If your stop is too tight, you're probably getting stopped out, and it's going to go without you. So, and then when we're wrong, and we know ways to find out if we're wrong, right? So we cross the live wire. We reverse more than 50% of the prior bar. That right there tells me I'm probably not going in the right direction, so I want to get out. Right now, what do we see? We have a target above. Where are we going? We can see right now on these charts where the target is. We're clearly going back to the daily open. We are starting that second leg. We got one leg, 1, 2, second leg. So we should make a measure move. Targets above. That's a reasonable reason to take this long, but for this setup, there's no momentum, so we didn't enter it. Yes. Well, I mean, they could be using the reversal indicator without using the strategy. You certainly can do that, but I do recommend if you're just using turn and burn, this certainly works. It works a lot, honestly. It works for a scalp. If you're just scalping, then it's going to be more successful, but I want them runners. I want them 100-point trades on my micros. I'll add on the way too. So, on the pullbacks on those big runs, I'll be adding on a couple. Take some profit, add on. Take some profit, add on. So initially we started with that indicator, it just gave me an alert every time there was a U-turn, so I didn't miss it. And then we added a little bit of a filter to it, or Paint Bar did that actually. He was very excited about my U-turns and he did a little testing of his own and added some volume component to it. That made it a little better, so we don't get a U-turn on every single reversal bar now, just good ones. And then we put it into a semi or an automatic strategy and filtered it more with the WADA. Yeah, I mean, well, you saw me. I took that swing and I got stopped out on my runner and I re-entered. So sometimes I'll do that. Well, it doesn't look very good today. I don't think I'm going to take any more trades. I've got a couple other appointments today, so I'm going to have to jump off. I'm going to try to get on here a couple days a week with you guys. This, wasn't the best day, I would say, but we got to see one trade. I'm showing you my degen strategy for passing evals, at least no turn and burns today. Which template do you want? I'm pretty sure all my templates are in, you want this one? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have that. But I can also drop it into the templates channel for you guys. I'll ping you DB when I do that. I can also drop this one too if you want. I just have like 100 EMA on this. I've got the prior day high and low plotted, and I've got my pivots on here. That's pretty much it. I mean, I personally can trade naked charts. That's how I learned. So, but I do think the tools make it way easier. Oh, Jonathan, it's your second day. Oh, and you get this crappy price action. It is so fun to trade Livewire when we get a nice trend. I mean, it's really fun. I mean, even this run here, you made money today. You were done. You made your money and you were done today. Let's see. Let's go back and look. All right, here we got the live. We got the trend tracker entries here. Look at that. You really can't miss, guys. Until you can. But this was a nice run. There you go. There you go. Now you got these short entries here that did not work out. This one would have given us scalp, but the bars are clear. So this could have been an entry here. This was an entry on Livewire, and it didn't work out. But you're not going to win every trade. It's just how it works. I wouldn't just take blind entries. Anyway, there's other things happening I'm looking at here. But here we go in this chop fest. And this is where I think this indicator is better. This is where I really focus a lot of the development time on, because I think a lot of indicators work really great in trends. They just don't work so well in sideways price action, right? So you can see here you got a long entry, but the brick is clear. We don't take that. Same thing here. That is not a good long entry. This short we don't take because the live wire is blue. Same here. We don't take shorts above the live wire. We only take them below. So that is not a good entry. Here we go. We are above the explosion. We are below the live wire. We got a short entry. There's an argument for taking that, and that is a loser. So we got one loser here. Here we go. This is a good trade. Live wire is yellow. The bar is yellow. We got a red entry. This is a good scalp entry. And then we're in this mess right here, and you can see we got a long scalp, but when we come down here, that is not a good entry. We're not above the explosion line. Here we go. Also not above the explosion line. Here we go. We are yellow down here. That is not green. We are not taking that trade. This one is not above the explosion line. It's close, and I might have taken this one, and it would be a loser. And then the second one here is, again, the same thing. It's just touching it. I might have took a shot. So we got 1, 2, 3 losers in a complete chop fest. So where other tools, you get murdered here, right? But on Livewire, you don't. You're going to take some losers. If you're managing your risk appropriately, you might have a small red day here, and that's what it's really designed to do. Those little small red days don't matter because you're going to catch these big green days. But that really is kind of what we spent a lot of time on, trying to help people, especially help my noobs, my friends and family. I don't want them getting all chopped up, right? So that was a big focus for me on helping them in these sideways garbage markets. Like, how can we help them see things here that would tell them to stay out? And that's kind of what we did. So on Livewire, this wasn't a good long, is where we needed to be, but the Livewire is yellow. You know, and I'm also looking at this like a trend down. We got to break. We should get a new extreme. I do expect to break the low here. Yeah, chop is everybody's nemesis, but we have a lot of tools in Livewire to help you see it. You got the volume profile range highlighted, so it draws your eye to the fact that that's the high and low. You can see the range visibly really quickly on this tool right here. So that's your first sign, you know, and then this is going to help you stay out of chop because it eliminates a lot of the sideways entries. Yeah, sometimes on days like this, I might go down a size, maybe to like 10, 20, 40. There is times when I do that, but, you know, I'm still following my reversal bars. I don't want to, I mean, I will take the pullbacks here, but I follow the reversal bars. When I get one, I come here, I look for a pullback entry, and I take my shot. You know, it helps me keep my risk low. That helps that's how I manage my risk, but it's cleaner. You can see it's just a lot cleaner. It's visually, for me, easy to see what's going on with these Renkos. And I do think it's good for new people. You know, these candles are a mess looking. What's happening here? This cleans it all up for you. Like overnight trading. I don't trade overnight, but I think smaller brick sizes might work a little better on like the Asia session if you're trading that. All right, now here we go. We got a red reversal bar, but I'm looking at my pivots, and this right here is a pivot. We didn't really break it. It looks like now it's hard to tell on the Renkos. You got to go to your candles. Close, but no cigar. But I see this level up here. The daily open is a magnet for price. I probably am not going to jump into a short, even though, look at that thing go. Only because we didn't really hit the target yet. Are we coming for our new low now? Interesting. That was a nice little burst there. We must get some news or something. I feel like the market is just unsure. Nice stock. Yeah, I think the market is unsure what's going on. Now we're below the Livewire, even though it's blue. We got an entry long. We're still hovering like right under the explosion line. I wouldn't take this long, even though I do think the target is above. Especially when we see we have a reversal bar, because almost always we get follow through, right? So we don't want to be long here, and then we come and get our follow through. I look at what happens most of the time, not every time, most of the time. Most of the time, that's what happens. It's good enough for me. I'm happy to miss one trade. There's trades all day long. The way that I trade, I'm going to get a trade all day long. So I'm not in a hurry. Like that one trade I've been waiting for to hit my level isn't going to, you know, that's the problem with them kind of strategies for me. You know, that one trade comes and I see all these different things here and I don't feel that confident about my entry. I don't want to take it. But if I miss that one trade of the day, I don't get any more opportunities. Like that just doesn't work for me. So this does. Now, if I was trading my evals, I'd be taking some of these entries. But the reason I'm not is just because the volume is very low. There's no momentum in the market. I don't want it to, especially don't want it to be porting evals and get stuck in sideways stuff here. That doesn't ever end well. Plus, I'm close to finishing them. I don't feel like starting over. But I have got to go and check on my kid and get my puppy for a walk. And I haven't eaten. I'm starving here. I don't like to trade. We're almost at 11:30, guys. That's the London close area. I don't mess with that. I'll come back in the afternoon, 1 o'clock. I don't trade at lunch time. Chop is not my favorite. No, thank you. Usually over the lunch hour. If we're trending, usually over the lunch hour, it's slow, like a slow, choppy pullback. I just stay out of that. If I've made my money in the morning, I'm done. I don't come back in the afternoon. This is another reason why I don't stream. I'd be a really boring streamer, but I'm usually done early, like 11, by 11, surely I'm done for the day. And as you guys see, I'm not that much of an entertainer, so I don't know about me live streaming. I just don't think that would be fun for anybody. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I've been thinking about getting my Series 3 license. I've been thinking about that a lot, especially because I have LiveWire, and I do feel like I'm leaning towards more like the educational route, honestly, and I won't be able to trade with prop firms, and I'll be considered a professional trader, so I'd have to give up some things here, so I'm still thinking it over, but I think that would be good to get, especially I'll learn a lot in the process, but I don't think anybody should be educating people without some certifications. Like, it's just not, it's a little sketchy. That's all good. Everybody's an educator today, right? Look at the guy that I posted his, it's got a course for sale. I posted his Twitter thing the other day with 52 months in a year. Like, you just never know what you're getting. So the Series 3 really is geared towards educators in the trading space. A lot of it is aligned to, like, so this Series 3 is going to benefit me in a couple of ways. One, I'm going to learn a lot. It's not necessarily about trading. It's more about educating and how you interact with other people as a business owner, really, which is what I am now. So, especially if I'm going to sell tools, I need to make sure I'm compliant with all different kinds of things. I don't think a lot of people are doing that, and that's something that I want to do. But there's a lot. I mean, it's like a 70 question test. It's like a 3-month course that I've been looking into getting. But I haven't done it yet because I don't know if I want to give up prop trading. I got to think about it. A lot of props will just not let you trade there if you have a Series 3, or every account you have to pay professional data on, so even your own personal one, so I don't know, we'll see. I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna look more into it and see what the benefits, pros and cons are, but that's something I'm thinking about doing, moving more into alright, so we're going up to that target. I told you about that short. I wasn't getting that short because we didn't hit the target yet, and here we go, hitting that now. So measured leg up, and then I think a measured leg down, honestly, but we'll see. Maybe we're just gonna wipe back on up to that pivot target to the left, my original daily bias. But I would expect at least an attempt at a new extreme here, so we should at least attempt a new low. Are you talking to me? I don't have advanced strategies with trail. I manually move them, but are you talking about this one here? I gotta check this out. You guys are hiding stuff from me. I love the little, the box at the top. Are you on 5 micros? What are you on here? Oh, yes, you are. That $900. Nice. I do. I am going to open a ticket so I can... Actually, I'm going to send you a friend request right now. It's not a scammer. It's me. I definitely want to chat with you. Oh, I can't send you a friend request. All right, open a ticket. You've got your friend requests blocked. I don't think so, are we? No, we are not friends. We are friends under my old profile, and I have no access to that anymore. Everybody thinks I'm a scammer when I try to reconnect with them. Remember, guys, I got reported and permanently banned on my first profile by some jackass. So I have a fresh new profile, and we are not friends. So just either open a ticket, or I don't personally know how to fix the settings to accept friend requests. Oh, nope, I can't. It says failed. And I don't really want to do that anyway, because everyone and their mother, on my old profile, everyone and their mother was DMing me all day long. Like, hey, Kelly, I just submitted my request. Do you know how long it's going to take? Hey, Kelly, who won that last giveaway? Hey, I mean, I would get obviously problems too, but it was just non-stop. So when I got banned and I got a new profile, nobody can message me. It's peaceful. So I don't really want to turn that on. So if I was connected with you and I'm missing you, let me know for sure. But that is kind of what happened. So I've been a lot more peaceful now. I mean, I would be like, are they serious right now? It's like, 9:57 in the morning. I'm trading, and you want me to know? You want me to answer and let you know who won the last giveaway? Are you freaking kidding me? Or people were video calling me too. That was always fun. My grandson answered one time. Yeah, I'm just gonna, imagine that somebody you don't know. You're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna give her a video call and see what she thinks. People crack me up. Let me tell you. Yeah. But listen, they just have a question. It's not a big deal. Listen, I'm very accessible, and I've always been that way. So, I mean, people don't think anything of it, but they don't realize that so many people are doing the same things. And I feel like, if somebody reaches out to me, I have to answer them. So now I just solved that. I mean, the jerk who got me banned solved a huge problem for me. Honestly, he just did me a solid. But that's why I made a ticket system too. So anybody that needs to really reach me can do that in a ticket. Yeah, some people just do lack boundaries. That's the truth, and they don't mean it. I'm not mad. I'm not picking on them. I'm just telling you kind of how it was going for me. Some people just don't realize, especially people in the Discord. I've been trading with them for a long time. Like, we're buds. They know they're my family. They feel like they can just ask me to let them know who won the last giveaway. DB, I trade 3 to 5 micros. It really depends on the size of the bar you're going to enter. If it's a bigger one and I want a smaller risk, I might size down a little bit. Remember, you can always add on to your trades, right? So if I start with 3 and I get that overlapping bar, it pulls back, then it starts to go in my direction. Maybe I'll wait for that before I add on a couple more. I do that a lot. If you're going to add on, first of all, I don't DCA. I don't ever DCA. There is no reason to be adding on to losing trades. If anything, I want to get out with my little slap on the wrist and go about the next trade. I do not avoid losers. That is a big deal right now, I would say. Avoiding losers is what makes you not profitable, in my opinion. Now, I know there are DCA traders out there that are making a lot of money most of the time, but I do think that eventually that shit is not going to work in your favor. So, and you can really build up a big position even on the micros. So I encourage you not to do that, okay? If you're wrong, you got a small loss, take your $200 hit and go about your day. All right, there is no reason to add on to losing positions to avoid a little $200 loser. That's ridiculous. Especially when you see above in the chat here, somebody like making $1,000 on a couple of micros, right? Like, we don't need to avoid those $200 losers. So we only add on to winners, and we like to do that, or I like to do that when I can move my stop loss to break even on, and I've locked in at least a scalp. That way, that's a good way to manage your risk, maximize your capital. And at that point, I start trailing my stop. But we didn't really get any opportunities for me to share that today. I am sorry. Yes, for trend days. Right now, he's making a shitload of money. We're not in a trend day. We're on a sideways day. So, and trading ranges are the hardest thing to trade. They're the ones that, that is the hardest, because you really have to have that fade the breakout mindset, right? Most breakouts fail. We don't trade breakouts, we fade breakouts, right? So to be a good trading range trader, you have to be comfortable fading those breakouts, and also using a wide stop. Like, they're the easiest days to make money, but you have to risk more. So today, I didn't think it was hard. I mean, I don't think today's hard. I just don't think it's a great day. So if you're following along with me today, you made money and you didn't get chopped up. That doesn't mean I never get chopped up. I post my red days. I have my rage trading moments. I'm a ginger kid over here. Sometimes I get mad, let me tell you. But I really only do that on my evals. Or sometimes I get like weary. I would say I get weary of trade. Like, I totally like self-imploded my 60 accounts. Like, I was just tired. So I'm like, we're just going to go all or go home, take a break before the holiday. And that's what I did. And I busted a lot of them accounts. It really is an easy system. To keep it simple. Simple is easy is best. That's just how I see it in trading. I don't want any complicated systems where I got to go looking at 500 different charts. I have all of my charts in front of me here. My turn and burn is up there only because I don't need to do anything much with that. Just listen for the alerts when they turn on. I will share. I'm gonna disconnect for a second, and I'm gonna share my actual trade-in screen. Okay, this is my actual trade-in stream. Screens. This is what I'm looking at. This is in front of my face. I don't gotta look up high like I was before. I can see my daily, my IB, my micros, my Renkos, and my 15-minute bars on the volume profile. This is all I need to see. I don't need to see other markets. I don't need to see anything else. This right here gets me going. I've got multiple layers of confluence. You kind of get an idea of what I'm looking for now. Starting with that daily bias, and I really am just looking for reversal bars, and I use the Renkos to manage my, my stops and my entries. I like to go for them pivots. Those key levels that I follow are on my charts. I can see everything I need to see really easily like this. So this is what my screen looks like. That is what my workstation looks like if you've downloaded it. And this is kind of what I'm looking at. So I've got the turn and burn on the monitor above. I just kind of monitor it. Yes, simple, clean. I don't need a whole bunch. You shouldn't have a lot of charts on anyway. It'll slow up your computer. Now, I am using this order panel here that's not part of Livewire. This is the TDU one. We're working on building something really awesome like this. This is coming. A little better than this, though. Quick fire entries. And I do enter market. I don't know if anybody noticed that. I don't set limit orders. If I want to get into the trade, I just get in. I'm hitting buy or sell and going about it. Yeah, I hit the market. I am not doing limit orders. I used to trade that way, but I don't do it anymore. Right now, I really am a wild child when I trade. I just get in. I think it's going up. I'm just going to get in. Small, maybe one micro. And then I'll wait for that pullback, add another one, Or I go in with 3. My ATMs, I'll show you them because I've got a lot. You can see I've got turn and burn. I set these up for you guys when I shared them, the turn and burns. That's a 4 micros. I don't take that on NQ. And then most of the time I go in here with the 5 Livewire setup that I've got. And I've increased to 5. That's why I haven't taken a withdrawal from my personal. But you can see I got 3 targets now, 2 micros, and 1 really long range runner. I like to get at least, 20 points on my first one. That's kind of what I'm using. But again, this isn't set in stone, and it shouldn't ever be set in stone. We're not taking the exact same setup every single time. You might need a little more or less room for your stop. You might need a little more or less room for your targets. I look to the left to see where my pivot target is. And, I would have been targeting this level. I would front run that a little bit. Had I taken this trade right here, I would be getting out, I'll look at the round numbers. I would want to get out around 43, 44, because we like to go to 50 and 45. I would have just got out here. I don't want everybody's front run targets to get hit up here and then it goes without me. That's happened. I don't do that anymore. I'm a dirty little front runner. And I didn't look, but the golden and silver setups are also, you can enable that on the Livewire tools. I imagine they probably worked well today since we're slow. So yeah, I will be coming back into the live channel. Probably not this week. Yeah, I've never traded silver. I'll take a look at that. I will be back at least once a week with you guys in the Livewire. Today wasn't a great day for that, unfortunately, but I got a lot going on here. You guys know, between the FTT, I've been writing letters for people for FTT clawbacks, and I got my daughter in the hospital, and I've trying to get these new tools out to you guys, just work stuff. I mean, I'm always working over here. So I've got a lot to do this week, so I definitely won't be back until next week. Next week, I would like to do a live stream on YouTube and in the Discord. So that's my kind of goal, at least once or twice a week, starting out. Let's see how I like it. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I don't know if I'm gonna be a very good live streamer. You can see I keep putting you guys on hold, and I run away, and I got the dog, and you know, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But if you have questions, you know, open a ticket. If you want me to cover something specifically about my system, I'm happy to do that on the next one. I did record this, and I did remember to click record for a change. I always forget. I'm going to shoot it over to the editor and ask him to clean this up, and I will post it on YouTube. No consistency in E8S. I'm super close to getting that done. I'm not taking any trades here because I don't trade between 11:30 and 1 o'clock. But where am I at on that? I'm at 104, so I need about $1,700 more on this one. You can see my take profits here. I just took my payouts on these two, and then I just started this pro. So I still have, you know, 4,500 in there. And halfway done these ones. What else I got? Lucid, I'm almost done this one. Got another 1,100 on this one. I'll have to finish that on another day. And then I'm close here. I'm halfway here. This is a funded account. I'm just trading micros on. I'm kind of working my way up in this one. And here comes my dog walker. All right, guys, I have to jump off. It was great hanging out with you guys. I will be back next week one day. Have an amazing day, guys.